You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub, your favorite place for movie news and reviews. We come to you every Thursday on 104.5 and 106.1 in the Conroe area. Also on every podcast, YouTube, Facebook Live, Facebook video. From Conroe, Texas, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at _Ticket Stub. Ticket Stub has a sponsorship with the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinema. You can visit us at irlonestar.com for information about the show and sponsorships, or you can drop us a line at 936-647-3776. Please don't forget to leave us a 5-star review across all platforms. My name is Connor. I'm one of the hosts of the show. Joined in the studio, as always, by Chris Appel. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Doing pretty good. And Dick, how you doing, man?
Doing well.
All right. Is everybody seeing us in the 4-frame video right now?
Yeah.
If you're listening and not watching, you need to right now go over to Facebook, the Ticket Stub Podcast, and check it out, because Dick, the engineer, the master, has got us in this beautiful 4-frame shot right now where you can see us all at once.
Yeah, I need to fix your camera.
Is it bad?
Well, it's just your side.
Oh, hey there, guys. How you doing?
There you go.
I guess I could just turn a little bit. Is that better?
No, I'll fix it.
How do I look?
I'll fix it
Hot,
at the next
sexy,
break.
good. All right, we've got a good show for you today.
No, it's hot, sexy, good.
Oh, is that what we are?
That's how we
Yeah,
do
the
it.
good, the bad, and the
That's
ugly.
how we do it.
Well, we got a good show today. We're going to do some movie news, talking about some of the things going on in the world of movies. And then we're going to do the rewinds, where we each talk about a movie that we've seen over the last week. And then in preparation for the Oscars, we're going to do a little Oscar look back, looking at some of the winners over the last 17 years from 2000 through 2017, which is all the award shows they've had.
You know, I think I actually have watched all of those Oscars.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I've watched many of them, but not all. It's become kind of appointment viewing for me over the last several years, but it wasn't, maybe before about 2010, it was kind of hit or miss for me. Dick, do you watch them every year?
It just depends. The thing that always plagues us, because we're not West Coasters.
Yeah.
So the time frame is always different.
Those dirty West Coasters.
And it's just, it starts so late.
Yeah, and it usually goes pretty long.
It starts at 7.
For me, it goes on to I think one year it was 11:30, 12. And let's be honest,
they always run late.
Nothing really important happens till the 9
Yeah,
p.m.
you
mark.
can tune in about 9. You missed some of the technical awards.
They're cutting us some slack. They started at 5 in L.A. So
So
it's really
true.
not that late for them. That's probably why it runs late.
That's
Because
why-
they
For them,
started
it's
at
like
5 over there.
8:30, and they're like, "Hey, come on, we're just getting started."
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Nobody's lit yet.
No, they're getting lit, but they're
Yeah.
not lit.
Well,
Unlike
that-
the Golden Globes, they're
Yeah,
not
isn't
lit.
that the ongoing joke? Is the Golden Globes are the ones that get drunk?
Yeah.
And then,
Make a fool of themselves.
yeah.
Which is funny, because that's the award that predicts the Oscars for so many people, but they're all up there drunkenly trying to give their acceptance speeches.
Yep.
And then all the people who are betting and
Well,
stuff are using that as their.
I guess that's one thing I always wish to know the full expectation of each nominee. Because some of them you could totally say, oh, they have zero expectation, they're going to win. But I want to know, in the history of the Oscars, they caught on camera a genuine, oh my God, I
Yeah.
actually won this award.
Yeah, that'd be a good point, because the odds, Vegas has odds on all this stuff
Yeah.
now, and they're pretty accurate.
Shows the New York Times.
Roberto Benigni, when he won.
What did he win?
stood up on the chair.
Oh, yeah.
Best actor. He won
Oh, yeah,
Best
for
Actor.
that Jew movie.
A
I'm just kidding.
That Jew movie.
A Beautiful Life, I think.
Yeah,
is
It's a
what-
Beautiful Life.
It's a.
It's a Beautiful Life.
I didn't really like that movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good.
apparently
Well, it reminded me a lot of The Mist, where the whole journey there is really exciting, and then the end, you're like, oh man, that sucks. What a happy.
It's a movie about the Holocaust. So
You don't remember The Mist where he?
if it had been a Gentile movie, would you have liked it more, Dick?
No, I'm talking about when because hopefully y'all both seen those movies. Have y'all not seen both of those
Yes.
movies?
I have not seen The Mist, but I'm familiar with The Mist.
So The Mist ends in they think all is lost, and he kills everybody but himself because they don't have enough bullets. And then next scene is he sees soldiers saving the car. And so in Life is Beautiful,
Sorry, guys.
it literally is the end of they kill him. He not sacrifices himself for the child or makes her laugh. And then the next day they're saved from the camp. But I'm like, really? This whole time he's a day late? I didn't like that.
It's kind of the opposite of most action movies, though, where the hero swoops in just in time. I kind of like everyone getting killed, and then the person comes in. And
Well, I think that's kind of what I was looking forward to talking about the killer because I watched it and I'm not going to ruin it for anybody.
yeah, please
but,
don't.
But
I have not yet watched it.
It was unconventional, and I liked it because you're so used to seeing these movies of what you expect this like the ending's going to be, especially when you watch the trailer, then you watch the movie. I love it when there's a big disconnect in what the movie's trying to do and trying to tell you in an art direction, and then the guy from America gets a hold of the trailer and it's like, let's make this a love story. And they're like, where's this love story? Why as you're watching the movie?
Well, better to do that than have the trailer give away every detail. I hate comedies when the 4 funniest moments are all spoiled in the trailer, and then you're kind of there and you're like, oh,
that's pretty much every trailer nowadays.
yeah, not so great. I like when a trailer is just one scene. For me, every now and then
Yeah.
they'll do that. They'll just release like a really crazy scene from the movie as kind of the trailer. I always love that because to me, it's just like it gives you a little taste of what you're gonna get. Just a little,
I am
little bit.
surprised that there is that habit of big companies making stupid trailers. Like pretty much every Marvel movie trailer, it's the movie. And you're like, all right, cool. I mean, I'm still gonna see it, but like I already
Because all they care about is buying the ticket. They don't care if you enjoy it once you get there. They just want you to
But
be
then
in the
like
theater.
companies like A24,
Right, Chris?
like A24,
Yeah, we went. Everybody had a good time.
like companies like A24 and stuff when they do theirs, it's like a really interesting trailer. They give you maybe like the plot start, but they don't go, oh hey, by the end, did you know that she was the Mother Earth? Did you know that in that show Mother?
Oh, that was random, dude. In that movie Mother from a couple of years ago that no one cares
Yeah.
about or talks about. I think A24 is one of the best out there in my opinion.
Yeah.
IMHO, in my humble opinion, as the
But Life is
Children are
Beautiful. I
not
do
saying.
remember that. That was really
Yeah.
fun. He added some.
Was it?
He added some spice to that.
super fun.
No, but
but
it's a
winning.
great
No, it's a
great acceptance speech.
Okay,
Sure.
so talking about the acceptance speech. All right, so I think most of the time, my guess is they've got a pretty good idea if they're going to win or not come award day, right? Plus, the movies have won a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of other
Yeah.
award shows leading up to now. So if you haven't won a single thing in all the different opportunities, if your movie's not getting much
Well,
love,
that's what I love is who's going to win this year? Black Panther, of course. And
Why, of course.
I mean, everyone's going to be like, I wonder if it's going to be a disgruntled groan or if it's going to be a cheer.
no, it's going to be a standing ovation if it wins. If or when it wins anything,
Did
it'll
you
be
see that it won the BAFTA awards for best visual effects?
really
Did you see that horse crud?
no.
No.
Yeah, it won best visual effect. It beat the Avengers.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I don't know if y'all saw the same movie I saw, but it looked like a PlayStation 2 game.
I don't know quite about that, but
You
it
don't
was
remember? You don't remember that subway scene when
the
they're fighting
subway
by the
scene was
train?
not
like
great.
that. No,
Not great.
that was bad.
Not
It wasn't great. It wasn't good. There was zero positive thing about.
There were
that.
some cool visual effects,
but it not that scene.
that scene was bad.
I mean, that scene takes something down.
Yeah, that wasn't the greatest. And Avengers was pretty good. Avengers was pretty good. So Dick's already kind of mentioned that our group rewind for next week is going to be the Killer. So that's February 28th, The Killer, and this is Chow Yun Fat and John Woo, and it is subtitled, and it is impossible to get access to unless you buy it on Amazon. But if you want
Yeah,
to,
that's right there.
Yeah, you got to.
yeah, the one that you bought like 3 weeks ago that
show it
finally
up.
came in. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Show it up. Let me see that.
Hey, The Killer, The
Let
Killer.
me see this thing.
Yeah, check it out, but don't take it because I got to watch it.
I'm not
So we're all
see
going to have watched The Killer, and we'll do our group rewind next week. We're going to have a packed show next week. We're also going to be doing Oscar recap,
Mhm.
talking about what happened, the good, the bad, what we thought, everything like that. And then, yeah, so that'll be a good show. Today, we're going to hop into it. Movie news. Try again.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Talking into a dead mic. Movie news, Variety.com had an article, and I'm not going to say too much about the movie because this is going to be my rewind, but Alita Battle Angel banks on the foreign audience to save it from box office disaster. No, the one part of this that to me was
Who
kind
didn't
of
see this coming, guys?
the part of this to me that was kind of cringy was once you take in everything involved in the movie, it's going to have to hit 500 mil just to break even. That's pretty rough.
I think this was behind the 8 ball because of the title.
It's not the greatest title.
It's not, and nobody can say it when they come to the theater. They say like Alicia, or they say,
Alicia.
like,
What kind? Like
yeah.
I love people that like don't even try to read the name.
oh no, their one was the one with the little bug-eyed girl. Someone said that.
Give me the one with the bug-eyed girl.
Yes.
And what'd you
Well-
say? What if you said like you just like made fun of some actresses in some other movie?
Was that?
Yeah.
Is that Johansson? Who
Scarlett
has bug
Johansson.
eyes?
I don't know if Scarlett does. She has beautiful
But no,
eyes.
what confuses me about when they announced this movie, where were they hoping to carry it to justify the price tag? Because
I
typically,
think James Cameron
but
is
he
what they were
wasn't.
hoping.
But he didn't direct it.
I know, but it's like part of his world.
Yeah, but that's not enough to be like, we got to make $300 million and domestically to make it up. I'm like, that James Cameron, unless he directed it, it's
Well,
not going to bring that.
What's crazy is it might. I mean, I don't know. It might make its money back. I mean, it's already at about 100 million or a little over with all the worldwide and everything combined, is what the article was saying. That the overseas was killing it, and so that's. I mean, if it's going to do anything, it's going to have to be overseas because domestic, and plus it was a 5-day weekend, I guess, including President's Day, is what they were calling, or they'd had the 5-day numbers on here, so they're tracking that as well. But what did it say? It got to.
They really should have casted a very well-known bankable star, not as the main actress, but like somebody in there.
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, Christoph
She's
Waltz.
Christoph Waltz is not $1 million person.
Oh, that's
though.
true. Yeah, you're probably
So I mean, you need someone not equivalent because you probably couldn't get someone like The Rock or something of that stature of like he just needs to be or play a role.
Hey, but they had Mahershala Ali was in it.
Mahershala?
as well, and he's
Mahersh, as
Yeah,
I like to
but
call
they
him.
didn't advertise.
he's doing
it.
great
They-
on that True Detective shows.
But they didn't advertise.
He's
it
about to
like
win an
that, though.
Oscar.
Yeah, maybe.
'Cause
Probably.
Probably not.
I would love listeners to chime
Is
in.
she not?
on
Is he not the favorite? Mahersh.
I thought it was Christian Bale still.
Oh, for the best actor?
Yeah.
No, I bet it's gonna be the Rami. I bet Rami wins.
No, we already
Oh,
said
Rami
it's gonna be
Malek.
Christian Bale because he's the only person who's gonna talk trash about.
I know,
Trump.
but I think I've heard some stuff where like the buzz is soaring in favor of Rami Malek for his work as Bohemian.
It's possible.
Well, no,
That's what's
I
stupid about the
want- I
Oscars
would
too.
like
Is like
to-
it just surges.
Just
like
to talk about Battle Angel though.
yeah,
I want to get our listeners' input it because what advertisement have you seen about this movie that made you want to go see it?
you asking us or the listeners?
I'm asking any like the listeners.
All right,
like-
listeners, we'll wait. Go ahead and answer.
and well, I mean, really,
Yeah,
because
no,
I don't really know where they're trying to sell me to see this movie.
Well, I don't understand. I guess exactly what you're saying. It's a cool sci-fi movie with
You
a
know,
girl who fights people.
It reminds me of like the District 9 and what's that movie with the robot that talks and it's got those British rabbit
Oh,
people in it?
Dude,
Yippee!
no, Chappie.
Chappie.
Chappie was good.
Yeah,
I love
It
Chappie.
reminded me of both of those movies.
Okay, because of like the downtrodden group at the
Yeah, it was
bottom
like
or whatever.
The feel of it kind of did, and those movies. I mean, they were good movies.
Well,
but they
I
didn't
would
do
say
that well.
I would say the look and like the advertising for this movie really screams foreign to me. Like they're not going for the American audience. They're going for the world.
Going for more of the
audience.
Jew audience.
Yeah, that's exactly. Thank you. That's the conspiracy theory. No, and that's one thing. Every time I watch the trailer or I see a piece about it, they kept trying to tell me James Cameron. It's almost like they were trying to tell me he did the movie, but it sounded like he was just on a phone call. Like, oh, let's just ask James what he thinks. Thanks,
yeah, okay,
James.
but Robert Rodriguez did direct it, and he's
Yeah,
not
but-
like some slacker or anything like that.
I
Like,
mean,
he's a huge name.
No, he's not. I would say in the like arts house world and especially the Austin world, maybe, but not on a huge plot. Not like a Fast and the Furious kind of thing.
Well, okay, maybe not, but even a lot of those guys aren't like guys that you've heard of before. That's the franchise carrying itself more than anything
we're
else.
also talking about they need to make this money. They need to make almost Fast and Furious numbers to be a good movie. I don't know why they would put this kind of money not having the formula that makes those kind of movies make money. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you need to have a bankable star. You need to have a bankable plot or something that works and grabs audiences. When you see the trailer, they didn't. It's not a kids movie because if they're trying to do a kids movie, oh, it's a young girl who finally discovers herself to be more powerful than what she thought. Like to me, that reminds me of a kid's story. But no, it's not a kid's story. And then they show a lot of action scenes. So it's like, oh man, last time I saw a cool movie was Jupiter Ascending and had a lot of action in it. Last time I saw it though, it sucked. So why would I want to go see this? This reminds me a lot of Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, I understand the feel might be the same.
And
This
also
is about
the
100
Thousand
times
Planet,
better.
like the Thousand Planet one, that movie.
Thousand Planet. Oh, the Valerian.
Valerian. This is what this reminds me of.
Yeah, I
It
never saw
look-
Valerian.
It looks really cool, but there's nothing to grab the random audience member to go come see my movie.
Maybe these are just like tweener movies, like what you're saying. Like it doesn't really hit one particular audience too
Yeah.
true. It kind of falls in between. But
Or
anyways,
the marketing did. They didn't choose a demographic.
Yeah.
It's kind of like let's just kind of put together some action scenes and show the big guys.
well, yeah, the big guys. Well, I'll talk about the movie during the rewind segment because that is what I've seen this week. But the point is that it's doing okay at the box office, but not as good as it hoped. And if it does well overall, it's going to be because of foreign. And it's kind of, we've talked about it several times. It's just more support that the foreign box office is becoming a driving force for movie makers as we start to see like some of these rock movies and stuff that are, the overseas trump well beyond what they make here. And it's really starting to drive the market, I would say, in a lot of ways. They're starting to make movies that are more internationally geared, feel, more diverse casts and things
Well,
like
I'm
that.
reading that it cost $200 million to make.
Yeah, but they said like after all the marketing and everything, it needs 500 million to
So-
break even.
It's not going to do that.
That'd be a lot. That would take a lot. 500 million is that's rough. And what's funny is, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and say this now because this isn't really about the movie necessarily or the actual what you see on the screen. Nick Howard, who's been on the show before, I was talking to him, and they in Austin actually built the city that it's all taking place in. They actually,
Oh, wow.
yeah, they spent like hundreds of like $100 million or more building that city so that they could film it because their plan was to make 3 of these movies, and so they wanted to spend all the money up front so that they could get it made so that the other ones would be cheaper.
So
to
is it
make.
still there?
Yeah, it's still there. And what Nick had said is that every little like room that, and I don't know if this is true. No, actually, this is what Nick's brother told me. Was that like a lot of the rooms had like running water and electricity. Like they built them like functional, like which
wow.
seems very unnecessary for a movie where you can
Well,
pretend.
they
to have
probably
all of that.
realized the main actress isn't real. So
Yeah.
they had to make everything kind of make up for it to be real.
And I'll talk about the way they shot the movie and stuff later on. But Alita Battle Angel,
Was she completely computer generated? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just her eyes.
no, she's computer, her bug eyes.
Oh, okay.
She was computer
That
generated,
wasn't a
but
joke. I really thought.
I think she was wearing the ping pong suit though. The ping pong ball suit. Like
Yeah.
I think she was really.
ping pongs on her.
She was
eyes.
really. Yeah, but they were like more tennis balls, probably.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Express UK, whatever that is, cool website from England, had an article about James Bond, and the reason.
What? I didn't see that.
Oh, so
You didn't send that to me.
I did send it to you, Chris.
No,
I
you
picked
did
it just
not.
for you.
I would have. Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Express.uk had an article. Is this the real reason Daniel Craig's final 007 movie is delayed? Which is the most clickbaity title ever. But really, the reason was because they're saying that the script may not be good.
I had heard that maybe he might be spending most of the movie in like captive, and behind bars. That's what I heard.
Okay, and that would not be the greatest, right?
Well, Goldfinger was like that.
Was it?
Yeah, because Goldfinger had him in his underground little prison deal. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Gold member. You know what's
that what
funny
I
is
said?
what?
I meant Goldfinger.
No, you said Goldfinger.
Oh, okay.
But what I was gonna say is it's funny because Gold member is 10 times more memorable to me in my mind than Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Austin Powers has stolen some of my actual James Bond awareness and knowledge. So the script may not be that good. They talked about how maybe they've tried to do some rewriting and things like that. Cary Fukunaga is going to be the director, and he's ready to start doing it. But apparently they're just kind of in limbo here, waiting for things to get put together. It was supposed to come out. What did it say? Like April of
it
next
was
year?
supposed to be this year.
It was supposed to be
believe.
this year.
November of this year, I think.
Yeah, they were going to kick off. Let's see. They were going to kick off filming March 4th. Bosses reveal that the release date has now been pushed back to April 8th. So that's what they've pushed the release date to. So if you
Well,
were,
when Danny Boyle left, I mean, I think that really kind of took a huge blow for a production when you lose the director and everything that he's done, because they had a script to my knowledge at that time.
well, maybe it wasn't that good. Maybe that's why he left. Who knows?
Well, they have the same guys writing. Neil Purvis and Robert Wade are the guys that kind of write these movies, and I just think they should. Those guys are okay,
Mhm.
but I would like to see maybe a fresh take on some of this stuff.
Well, then
Not
you
that
got
the
to get rid
last
of
ones,
Daniel Craig.
huh? Do I know?
I mean, because they basically every time they do a Bond movie, you have a choice to do an overall arc or do an episode. Kind of
I think
format
they should do
it.
an episode. I
But they've committed with the arc for the past 3.
yeah, they have.
So it's kind of like, where do we go? Do we just do? Oh, this actually took place before.
Seems like they have
Casino Royale.
to. Yeah, if Daniel Craig's in it,
And-
you have to keep going with what they've started,
Yeah.
and then you could bring another Bond in just to do episodic, I guess, if you wanted to do that next.
Well, I think they're worried about something that I've talked about on the show before is when you have like you start over with a Bond like with Daniel Craig. Casino Royale was all serious, then it gets more fantastic and more fantastic each film until you're completely ridiculous. I think they're trying to avoid that
Like
so
a limited storytelling might bring it back to reality if it's like all in a prison cell or something.
like that. Because if you look at Pierce Brosnan, like GoldenEye was fantastic, great, serious movie, and then the last one's Die Another Day, which is just like,
Was that one where they had the ice beam shoot down and try to
Yeah.
freeze him? Yeah. that
well, it was
totally-
the laser.
That's realistic, dude. Trump's Space
Yeah,
Force is going
it
to do
was
that.
way over the top. So I'm
Well,
sure there's a
not
little
really,
bit of
because
that.
GoldenEye kind of had the same thing. It had a satellite shoot.
Yeah, but that was done. That was done in
Again,
a more
Trump's Space
realistic
Force.
fashion. Yeah,
That's what we
fashion
need it
there.
for. Well, we'll see.
It wasn't a guy that like had turned himself. He'd turned himself Asian just to like hide. Or I'm sorry, he turned himself into a white guy.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Which one is this?
That was Die Another Day.
I forget. All these
That
blend into
movie was
one.
to
A
hide.
Wild.
He literally went through like genetic manipulation
so
to turn
weird.
himself.
little Michael
into-
Jackson surgery to hide from the criminals.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Is that the one with the house made of ice?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Halle Berry.
And Halle
Yeah.
Berry.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Does this one have a name? James Bond. James Bond.
25.
Bond 25.
Oh, that's the actual title.
Yeah.
No,
thought it-
no. That's
I have
that's
no
the
idea.
that's just they always call it Bond whatever number.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then y'all
there's
both
no
said it so
title.
convincingly to me that y'all threw me off. Okay, so it does not have a title.
No.
We've been calling it Bond 25 for the past like 5 years. So yeah.
Do we have a singer yet? Do we have a singer for the song,
No,
Chris?
no.
Probably
No
get rid of
song.
them.
Ooh, maybe summertime in the city or whatever.
There's nothing.
What-
It
or
is
Christmas time in the city.
It is rumored that Rami Malek might be.
Oh,
might be the bad guy.
Stop it.
No, I'm not kidding.
Oh.
That's not a joke.
Really?
Yeah, that's just.
I hope
Yeah,
not.
I was really waiting for them to go outside of the box and make some like evil genius be a kid.
Ooh.
And he's like 12,
And he's like in math class, like programming the warheads or something like
Yeah.
that.
and Bond has like a fist fight with him, but it's like it's like a
He's
second.
just beating him.
12 years
Just
old.
Pounding this little kid in the face.
I think. Don't take our idea, Bond 25.
Yeah, Bond 26, directed by the three of us,
Yeah.
starring Christmas Time in the City as the sound. That
There
would be
you
the
go.
that would be the soundtrack. It could be a Christmas Bond. Has there
Yeah.
ever been a Christmas Bond?
Yes.
There's been some winter Bonds, but has there ever been one centered around Santa Claus and Christmas?
No.
Okay.
No,
All right. Well, wide open, taking a little sidestep. All right, and then the last thing we're gonna do.
I don't think that movie's gonna happen.
Oh,
a Bond movie will happen.
I know,
With-
but I don't think the one
with Daniel
that-
Craig?
I don't think the Bond 25 that was originally set out to be Bond 25 is gonna happen. They're gonna be like, you know what? They're gonna pull a solo, and they're just gonna send in some dude who's a really well-known director, and
like
then
fix it.
and be like, oh, but then they're gonna cancel the whole thing after that.
Oh gosh.
I'm surprised there's not people lining up to direct a Bond movie. I don't get it. I think there's enough directors that want to do it. Even Steven Spielberg said at some point he would like to do a Bond movie. So.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea is if they just had one director film a bunch of interesting scenes with like no concept of a plot, and then give it to this should be like a good concept idea. Give it to another director and say, here's your raw footage. Make your plot, man. Make your movie. Come up with it. Seems like you could shoot formulaic stuff that could be used in just about anything. Do some voiceover work in the background.
Yeah.
A lot of shots from like the back of them where you
And
can't see
that's-
their mouth, and that way you
That's
can
why
add any
they're not-
dialogue you want.
Well, that's why they're not gonna renew it,
It's because of what?
because they're gonna do that.
Oh, they're
and
gonna-
it's-
okay,
and
see?
it's gonna be horrible.
Me and Bond are on the same page,
And
so
then
that's
they're gonna
good.
they're gonna blame it on Daniel Craig and be like, look what you did to your own series. You stink.
Yeah, you brought it back just to murder it.
So
He's been using
you
Bond
think
just
they're
like Bond
gonna-
uses
they-
all those women.
Well, they should just do the Logan. Just have him kill like die at the end.
Chris is not pleased.
No, I don't.
Chris is not
It's a
pleased.
character. He'll be around forever. I don't know.
Well, I don't mean kill like. Well, James Bond's 007's a name they give him, right?
They've never really. No one's come out.
So I'm
and
saying,
said-
so they can. He
so
can
he's
die.
technically
He
the
could-
same guy
he
in
could-
all of the films.
No, he's not.
technically. Yeah.
No, so you're saying.
Technically he is, yeah.
So you're saying in the world of James Bond,
He's done
if
all
I
that
went
stuff.
if I went to Daniel Craig, I'd be like, remember that one time that woman was covered in gold? He'd be like, that's crazy. Yeah, he would remember that.
As the character James Bond, yes.
Do you think someone's ever like James?
But we're in the past, technically.
Does
The
anyone ever say
timelines don't match up, but yes.
James?
Well,
how
they're
come in the
all-
future the
they're all wearing
technology?
different
yes, he is the
clothing.
same character.
Why is the technology so much worse in the future, James?
It's not like, Billy Bartan or something is
Billy
like
Bartan?
James. Your name's James Bond now, and you're 007. And then
Is this
it's
in
not
Doctor
like that.
Who, where they all they can change physical form to make the same Doctor and be like, oh,
No, it is. Yeah, it's James Bond is the same character. It's not like
I don't believe that at all.
Yeah,
I do
that's-
not believe that at
yeah,
all.
that's-
I would trust Chris. I'm siding with Chris
Yeah.
because he's a Bond nerd.
I don't believe
It's the
that at
same
all.
guy, supposedly.
All right, well, let's put our differences aside. Let's watch the trailer breakdown for a little movie called Shazam. Now, this one is not coming out this week. It's coming out, I think, in like a month or so. But I saw the trailer for this as I was at Alita Battle Angel. And Chris, I hate to say it.
Is that the bug-eyed movie?
Yeah, it's the one with the girl with the crazy eyes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the bug-eyed movie. Alicia?
Alicia Battle Anvil. And she's got the bug eyes.
Man, who decided to make that movie?
Oh man, you would be. It's unbelievable.
See what I'm talking about?
The names that people call
the,
movies.
The marketing of this movie was horrible. Like no one really got what was going on besides the hardcore anime people.
Oh, it
And
was,
it's just because she has slightly larger eyes. They're like, oh
Yeah.
man, I'm in.
that's all I
love it.
need.
I love it.
That's all I need. A lot of scenes of her running with her arms behind her. Anyways, so I was there. I did go to the 1488 Escape theater. Sorry,
What
Chris.
about-
But we watched it at the large. They have the large screens there, like the really big.
I'm not familiar with that.
It doesn't exist actually. I'm making that
Yeah, it
up.
doesn't exist.
But we did see it there to see it on the biggest screen possible because we thought that might be kind of cool. And it was cooler.
How many people actually showed up?
Dude, no one. I sent y'all a picture, right?
Yeah, so how many actually ended up showing up?
I bet there was 10 or less people at that theater. I can't understand how that's a viable business, but that's a different conversation.
Do you think that's because the marketing of the movie didn't do
No, there was not people at the theater. We were there on a Friday night. We went to the 1020 showing. Chris is like salivating right
I still
now.
don't know what
We went to the
theater that
1020
is.
showing. It's on 1488. This is local for anybody listening, but it's on the 1488 about a couple
But
miles
don't
down
tell
the
them
road.
where it is. Jeez.
Anyways, if you turn left and you had
And their prices are
you
like
can't miss it.
way
Their prices
cheaper.
are way better than the. No,
Yeah.
it's really not. It's more expensive, and no one was there. It was new, which was nice, and it had the head crushing seats, which was cool. But there was probably only like 10 people in the theater total. And while we were watching, or as the previews were rolling, Shazam, the preview for Shazam came on, and I had not yet seen a preview for Shazam and didn't know a lot going into it. Have y'all already seen this trailer?
I don't believe. I
Yeah,
have, no.
I've been following this movie.
You have been.
Yeah, I
You're-
like Zachary. Is it Levi?
Yeah, Zach Levy.
Levy. Yeah, I enjoyed him in Chuck, and then when they announced him as Shazam, I was like, it'd be interesting to see if they make this a full-on kids movie or not.
Yeah, well, let's check it out.
So it's kind of weird premise if you take it to the adult.
Kind of weird.
kinda
It
weird.
is PG-13, and this is coming
So-
out April 5th. So we're about a month and a week away from this one coming out.
All right, 1 second. Keep talking. Let me make sure.
Oh, anyways, and so it's a action adventure fantasy.
And this is the one that Shaquille O'Neal was.
no, common misconception that I've been making. That's Kazam,
Oh,
where he's the genie.
Okay, okay.
Where we could watch that trailer too.
well,
if you
then
want.
this is completely different than what I thought it was going to be.
I can take care of myself.
You can watch the Kazam trailer if you want from like 1992.
Can you slide your microphone, sir? I can't
I'm
see.
trying-
There we go.
They're giving you.
So he's a kid, and it's Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas.
Christmas time.
Batson? Make sure you make him feel at home.
They seem nice, but don't buy
I don't know.
Can we turn like the trailer volume up? Just there we go.
Dude, just messing around.
Is that the
You look at me
Diary
and
of the
you're like,
Wimpy
"Why so
Kid?"
dark? You're
I don't know,
disabled
dude.
foster kid.
Oh
You
no,
got it all.
that's the kid from It, right?
I don't
If you
know.
could have one superpower,
Which one? What's
you
his
think?
name?
everybody chooses flight.
Jack
you know why?
Dylan.
So they can fly away from this.
Yeah, he is from
conversation.
No, because
Yeah.
heroes fly.
So something happens. Taking too long to get to the main part.
So this is a DC universe.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, beats him with his cane,
Sorry about that.
and he's getting chased. So apparently he's a little kid. He kind of gets up to no good. He rides a subway. This is the part I don't really understand. All of a
Well,
sudden,
he's chosen.
Oh, this is where Predator comes.
yeah. No, Black Panther flies through the subway now.
I like the headphones. We're getting like surround sound. Kind of, it's pretty neat.
Hello?
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
Say my
But I don't know your name, sir.
Isn't that a TLC song?
Say my name. Say my name.
Okay. Shazam?
Yeah. So this is like, I don't know. They're definitely going for the Deadpool vibe here. I think without the raunchiness.
So he turns
slapstick.
into an adult.
Yes. It's kind of like Big.
Billy!
Okay.
You're the only person I know that knows anything about this Cape Crusader stuff.
Can I?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy, right?
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude. I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
See, this is PG-13 though. That's part of it. It's not just for kids.
Can you fly?
Oh, he's flying. Oh, he's falling.
Okay.
Ah.
Why are you talking?
I mean,
I don't think that's gonna buff out.
Your phone stars. Your phone
I do like that.
like a bag.
Your phone. Got a little Mark Strong in it.
You have bullet immunity.
I'm bulletproof.
You're dead.
Sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
Pretty funny.
So he's a kid part of the time, and then
Well, see, that's
when
what's-
he turns
that's
into
what I'm saying.
Shazam, he turns into an adult.
The
Or is he just a
screenplay-
kid that looks old?
The screenplay can go real dark real fast.
Yeah, what if he like hooks up with somebody?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's good. Like, imagine he had a 13-year-old
That's why it's
girlfriend,
PG-13.
and now he's a 26-year-old superhero. I mean,
Oh, that's the PG-13 material.
I guess I don't
What
know.
if? Oh, what if that was like a subplot where he was trying to fight crime, but he was in court for like oh, he can't go save the day because the bailiff won't let him out on bail.
well, what's weird about it too is it's going to be that awkward 10 years because they clearly have taken like social media of him. I don't know if they're going to release who he is or if the world's going to know who he is as a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
But then once people find out, it's gonna be one of those weird, Pet Detective endings where everyone's like gonna spit out the kisses they got because it turned out to be a 13-year-old boy.
Spit out the kisses.
kisses.
Is it kind of weird that they picked Zachary? I think it's Levy. Maybe it's Levi.
I don't know.
Is it weird that they picked him for this role? I mean, I know it's DC.
He
but
No.
said he's 26. That guy's got to be 30.
No, he's 30.
Well, I don't know how old
39.
Shazam
He's
Oh,
is
I
30.
think
in this
same age.
version.
God,
But
man,
I mean,
He looks way
I think
better
he has a
than me.
great following. I know he has a
Are you
lot.
38?
He's got the cult following for the nerds.
You look the same, Chris.
So, and I think he has some impact on that, especially.
Is it a fun comic book? Is it a comic?
Yeah, it's kind of it's supposed to be. Imagine you being a 13-year-old boy in a
No, thank you.
superhero.
Yeah.
Because like one of the big arguments, not arguments, but like the mentality of the superheroes in the DC and also in the Marvel world is they always kind of are dreadful about being the superhero because there's so much responsibility on their back. But what makes Shazam different is he's like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I'm going to fly in there and save the day. And
He's just a chill bro. Wants to hang out
so
with his other bros.
but that's kind of like the counter to all the other superheroes. What makes him different is he wants to be the one that goes in and saves the girl on the train, or if he, that kind of
Yeah, I can't wait for the scene where like his friend's like, "You've changed, man." He's like, "Yeah, I'm 30 now."
Yeah, I'm
He's
30.
like, "Dude, you said you were coming to my birthday party. What the heck, bro?"
I'm shooting electricity out of my fingers, dude.
He's like, "Dude, I'm hooking up with models and I'm shooting electricity out of my fingers." Like, dude, you said we were going to the trampoline park today. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe not.
Trampoline park. I don't think they have those anymore.
That's a new thing. They're back.
Yeah, they got a lot of those.
Urban Air just opened up in the
Yeah.
spring. All right, we need to go to break. This segment has run its course. When we come back, I think so. Has it? When we come back, we're going to be doing the rewinds. We're going to talk about the movies we've seen over the last week, and then we're going to be doing our Oscar look back, talking about which winners have held up the best and worst since the year 2000. Talking about only Best Picture winners for the Oscars. So stick with us for more fun on the Ticket Stub.
Let's begin now.
The Ticket Stub is sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
With 18 locations around the country, the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas bring you the latest in state-of-the-art projection and sound.
Including Fathom Events and Flashback Cinema.
Did you know your local Grand or Amstar Cinema serves a wide variety of adult beverages?
And some even have a full bar.
And moms, they didn't forget about you. They also have a large selection of wine to help you get through those kids' movies.
Visit your local Grand or Amstar Cinema today.
Don't miss Lone Star Community Radio on TV and YouTube. Our talk show and music shows are featured on Our City TV, Suddenlink Channel 12, and have their own YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with posted shows and comment on them below the video.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Shazam! We're back on the ticket stub. If you missed this last segment, we talked about Alita Battle Angel not doing what it needs at the box office. James Bond delayed because the script is trash. And then we watched the trailer breakdown for Shazam, which I'm going to say doesn't look that good if you're just asking me right now.
I thought it was pretty funny. It should do well, I think.
I think it'll probably do well, but those are two very different conversations.
Well, I kind of mentioned it while we're watching it. Like, who's it marketed towards? It's supposed to be like you're working at the theater. What would you expect the demographic to be? Like 16-year-olds, 12-year-olds?
No, probably the Deadpool crowd, I would say.
Street youths, the unwashed masses.
You mean like rated R plus 18 people?
I think it's teens. I think this is going to be a teen movie.
You have to be PG-13, so it can't be anyone under 13 to go
Teen movies are really difficult. They like PG-13 horror movies.
I'm just telling you, this is going to be, I feel like this, adults aren't going to want to go, like a group of like nerdy 25-year-old dudes are not going to love this movie. In my IMHO again, in my humble opinion.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully it does well for Chris so he can get that bonus.
Huh,
Let's do our rewinds. This is the part of the show where we talk about the movies that we have seen over the last week. I'm going to start because I'm always so selfless and let y'all go first. And because we've already kind of stepped on mine. I saw Alita Battle Angel. It's in theaters now. It just came out this last weekend. And the IMDb plot says a deactivated female cyborg is revived, but cannot remember anything of her past life and goes on a quest to find out who she is. So this has Rose Salazar, who is completely CGI'd. Are we playing?
No, go ahead.
Is there sound here? Or are you just playing the? Oh, cool. Okay, Rose Salazar, who is completely CGI'd and got the bug eyes. Christoph Waltz is like the doctor dad who finds her and kind of brings her back. And then Jennifer
Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly, who it's terrible. I watch movies all the time, love them, and it took me 5 minutes to go like, okay, who's this hot chick again? Like I forget.
She's recovering from her heroin addiction.
Really? Is she coming back?
No, I was making that up because everyone thinks of her as Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, that was dark. Mahershala Ali, and then Ed Skrein, Jackie Earl Haley, who, to his credit, I never know it's him until after the movie when I go like look up the IMDb. You know, he's always so different looking, or like he's this big cyborg guy in this movie, so he looks different always. But he was a really good part of this. Is Groishka, who was this big like evil guy. This movie was cool.
Honestly, I'm looking at a picture of it's Rosa Salazar, and her eyes are already big. They're already pretty big.
They only had to increase them by 25% to get them to anime size.
I thought they were.
So a couple things. Number one, the way that they brought the CGI into this movie was unbelievable, I think. The way that it interacted with the real world. And one of the things that I found out about shooting this, they have some new technology. Part of why it was so expensive was they had some like 20 camera setup, apparently. As they were filming, they were rendering the CGI into the shots live on set as they did this movie. And that was one of the things. Really? That's one of the things about it that's so groundbreaking. And one of the things where I think even if this movie is not real successful, the technology behind it is going to be a game changer. And maybe this was even like maybe for James Cameron, it was worth kind of bombing on this. Yeah, she's attractive.
I'm talking about the eyes.
Yeah, they're large eyes. I would call her. What was that movie called? Like Big Eyes or something from last year?
Yeah, Big Eyes.
Yeah, that wasn't that good. It had Christoph Waltz in it though.
They're not that big. There you go. Call back.
What?
Is that a joke you made or something?
Well, we talked about Big Eyes.
Yeah,
on the show.
Okay,
I don't remember that at all.
I don't.
Yeah, we did.
I think I talked.
You watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. Anyways,
there you go.
Thanks for derailing me, Chris.
I said callback. It's a callback.
Anyways, it's this new technology where they're rendering the CGI on the monitor on set as it goes. And so I think it was some like multi-camera setup or something like that. I don't know how it works. Things have kind of come out. It was all real hush-hush as they were filming it. But I think afterward, now that it's out, I think people are able to talk a little bit more about some of that stuff. And I read some article that said they had like, it was like 30, because there was like 5 IMAX cameras, several CGI cameras, several regular cameras. Like this rig had like 30 cameras on it at once that was filming this whole thing. So pretty crazy in that regard. All in all, I don't think this movie is going to get the love that it probably deserves because I really liked Alita. It had some very corny moments.
I know I've been saying negative things.
You have been.
I actually I'm looking, me personally, this is a movie that I want to go see just because I like stupid sci-fi films.
No, and I think this is actually good. Like I think this has some really interesting pieces to it. The world that they built, I was really interested in.
I
the
really
world.
liked Valerian. I like that movie.
Yeah, I never watched Valerian. Is this part of it too? Or is it?
It's just on a repeat.
Oh, it's on.
thing.
Okay, yeah. So I thought it was really super.
Oh, this is not it.
Okay, I was gonna say. I thought it was really interesting. It stuck with me a little bit. Like I saw it on Thursday, and we're recording
They
this.
really changed Alita. Though,
Yeah, well, yeah. I was like, whoa.
Now it's Carl.
Carl Battle Angel, and Anyways, this was good. This stuck with me. I've thought about it several times since then. The world they built was really cool. The one thing is, a lot of the plot centers on this sport they invented called like rollerball or something like that. And I could have done with much less of that. Probably
Another great film.
Yeah.
Which one?
The
remake?
Oh, the remake.
LL Cool J?
Oh gosh.
No, the
Man.
James
Anyways,
Caan.
Alita Battle Angel. Go
the
see
James
it.
Caan one.
Go check it out. I recommend it. I think it's fun. I think it's worth seeing. And
Do you think they approach LL Cool J to be in movies to write a rap song? Or do you think he goes, hey, can I write a rap song while I'm doing this?
I think he probably volunteers.
You think he volunteers
I
or they
think he
require him to do it?
probably that while he's on set, he's such a flow master that he's probably just
true.
coming up with
Yeah.
these sweet rhymes, and they're like, "Oh, we've got to incorporate that." Somehow.
Probably so.
All right, Chris, what'd you see?
Is that why they got rid of Ja Rule in the Fast and the Furious? Oh, it wasn't. Who was
It was Fast and the Furious. Ja Rule.
Was Ja Rule the first one?
No, he got himself out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he. I think he like took himself out, and that's why they put what's his name?
Ludacris.
Ludacris. Yeah,
Man, why is he makes the worst decisions?
dude. Firefest is coming back.
He could have been a superhero.
Yeah, Firefest is coming back, man. Chris, what you got?
I saw a movie from 2013 called All Is Lost with Robert Redford.
Oh, wow, this was.
Have you seen
I
that?
have.
You have seen it.
I have.
Well, very good. It's 94% on RottenTomatoes.com.
I'm actually pretty sure he reviewed it.
No, you didn't.
I think so, but maybe
I'm
not.
pretty sure he did.
94 is how many words were spoken in the entire movie. Also,
Oh, well, less than that. But anyway, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's Academy Award nominated writer and director J.C. Shandor from, it says Margin Call. No one knows what that is.
oh, I love Margin Call. Are you kidding me? You need to watch Margin Call. It's got Zachary Quinto in it. Quinto.
Yeah.
It's about like the
from
stock
the
market.
Star Trek.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, he did A Most Violent Year. I think most people would know him from that.
Well, fine.
But this is a tense adventure drama about a man, Robert Redford, who must fight for survival against being lost at sea. This movie was absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is probably going to go into one of my top 10 favorite movies of all
Man,
time.
wow.
I liked it that much. I mean,
It's going to narrowly edge out one of the Judge Reinhold movies into your
Yeah.
top 5.
Beverly Hills Cop 3 has been moved to number 11. But no, I mean, the movie just thrusts you right in. It's like you don't know why he's out there on the boat. You don't know what he's doing. You don't know what his goal is. It's just he's there on the boat and stuff starts to happen to him. And the thing that I thought was really cool is, he's an older guy, and I know an older guy.
You do?
Obviously.
Wait, you know
Where I'm
older
going
people?
with this is-
I don't associate with old folks.
They tend to be prepared for things. And one thing that I liked, it was
Except for
very
death.
realistic. Yeah, it was very realistic that nice. Yeah. Nice. Classing this up.
Sorry, Chris.
But everything that happened to him, he was prepared for. Like he was prepared for a hole in the boat. He was prepared for various
So you're
things.
saying before he got on the boat, he was already prepared to be lost at sea?
Yes. Yeah.
So
very
why
much
on
so.
earth would he get on a boat?
Well, you have to be prepared for the worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
I think that's like part of I don't know if it's old people or just like a better generation than we are. Like we're all like, millennials who are like, I need my
Yeah.
phone. But there's people who actually could like fix things with their hands and stuff like that.
That's the only thing.
What they should have done is made the mule, but made it on a boat.
Boat mule.
Yeah, so
Boat
he's
mule.
trafficking. Like there's actually a risk why he's doing this crazy thing.
Yeah, but I think Chris's part of the cool part is you don't know the motivation
Yeah,
for
you
the
don't
boat.
know. You don't know why he's out there. You don't nothing.
Isn't it like the first 30 minutes there's no words?
There's a little bit of a narration in the beginning, and then he only says, I believe, one other word.
Like a bunch of grunts. Are there grunts?
No, not really grunts. No, but
Like
it's,
you're
it's,
pulling a
I mean, it's
rope.
very
Like,
realistic.
ugh.
It was shot on the same tank down in Rosita Beach, Mexico, that they filmed Titanic. So it was like in a tank a lot. of
Really?
it.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
But I loved it
Is
so
Leo
much.
still in it?
Yeah, the floating door is still there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's awkward when the door floats by.
Yeah, that actually helps him out. He gets on there, and it's clearly
that's
two
his
people can fit
motivation.
on it.
Yeah, him and his
Clearly.
friend. Him and his friend both climb
what
on.
it is it's supposed to be a tale of Jack lost at sea trying to escape purgatory.
Oh, there
And
you
so
go.
that's what it is. That's who Robert
Yeah.
Redford is.
Yeah, he looked pretty rough in this, didn't he?
Well, he generally is not.
What
he
made you
looks
want to
pretty
watch
rough.
this?
It was.
Dude, this is a good movie.
I don't know. I just saw it. And I was kind of bored, but I loved it so much. I actually got the watch that
Are you
is
kidding
and
me?
it's not the actual. It is the same model and everything. It's
He's
the
wearing it
same
right
one.
now, folks.
Yeah, I am wearing it right now.
You need to go to the Facebook
Yes.
right now so
if
you
you,
can
if you
hold it up
if
to
you
the
watch
camera.
it, the pictures. So yeah, there you go.
What kind of watch is
Is
it?
this? It's a Seiko SKX 009.
Dang.
Yeah.
Seiko.
And
That's a good
shit,
watch.
It takes a it's pretty good. It takes a beating, and that's why I got it. I was like, he beats the living crap out of this. It's like a second character in the movie, kind of.
So, in your work at the movie theater, do you think you're going to put this watch through the same kind of scrutiny that he did on the boat crash?
It's possible, man.
Sometimes the
You should
popcorn
be there.
grease.
You should be on there on a Friday night.
The popcorn grease might drip on it, but guess what? I got the Seiko 009.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually wet and crying by the end of the night, so it's very possible that that could happen.
Yeah, who knows? Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
that, hey, if nothing else, you got a little keepsake.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. And you're the dude. I love you because you're the dude that'll watch a movie, like it, and then just go buy something from it.
Well, yeah, I don't know why I do that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing. So that's why I love that about Chris. I own nothing from any of the movies that I like. So who's the real loser? Me.
Well, depends on who you ask, I guess.
So all thumbs up. Every thumb up.
100%. Go. You will not be disappointed.
Was it streaming? How'd you say you saw it?
I saw it on Amazon. It's free on Amazon Prime if you got Prime, but I didn't at the time.
And how you
so
do?
I rented it. But I now have Amazon Prime.
From like,
I've been talking
from like
about
last
it.
week. You finally got it. Like, when did you watch
Yeah.
this?
I watched this last Tuesday.
And then got Prime right after that.
Right after.
You could have saved yourself $3, man.
I could have, yeah. I could have.
All right.
I'm in
By the
love
way,
with
how'd
it.
you not have Amazon Prime?
I
It's
don't.
2019.
I know. Well, I do now.
Okay. Well, there
And
you
that
go.
free 2-day shipping.
Hey, you just
Yeah,
paid.
that's why that's how I got that.
That's how you got it. Was the 2-day
free
shipping?
2-day shipping.
Hey, you just paid Bezos' wife like $39.99 right there.
That would be pretty funny
You
to
got
have
half
that
the Prime.
ticker. Have that ticker. It's like how much goes to the mistress.
Dick, what'd you see?
All right, I wanted to see a kids movie, so Paddington 2 was on
Oh,
my
I
list.
forgot Paddington.
But I had.
Oh, did you not see Paddington?
Oh, I still have it. It's on my queue thing.
Okay.
But Holly intervened, and we watched Babe,
The original.
the original.
Dude, so it's been a
That
running,
is
So
it's been a running joke with me and Lindsay about Ba Ram U.
Yes,
Because that's like, because I said that to her one time for some reason. Which
she probably thought you were really
she
weird.
thought it was super weird. So I pulled up the clip and showed it to her. And,
Has she never seen Babe?
She has, but that's not a scene that necessarily sticks with you, I guess. It's all the creepy lambs. You know what I'm talking about, Chris?
Yeah. Yep.
And they're like, Ba Ram U.
Well, one thing I wanted to say is the reason kind of got my interest in watching it was George Miller. It was produced by him, and he also directed Babe, Pig in the City,
So
which he
funny.
also directed. What movie do you know George Miller from?
He did the Mad Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that to me kind of go, whoa, this is weird. And I don't really remember this movie that well at all, but Holly knew everything about it. And I watched it going like, what was I doing in 1995? And I don't really, this movie totally missed me. I did not care about it. And at that age when it came out, which I think I was 9 at the time. But what was most interesting to me is the impact reading after I saw the movie. It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, and it won for visual effects. I think if I'm reading that
Really?
correctly, and a lot of people who are in the creative part of it really love this movie, and they're high respected. Like James Cromwell basically came out as a vegetarian because of this movie.
Well, this was right before he went crazy.
Yeah, I imagine so.
What's crazy is that I heard 50 pigs were killed in the making of this movie.
So
Is that true?
No, that's not true.
no.
Oh,
I think that's the whole opposite.
I believe
thing.
that.
But watching
it was
the
95,
movie, and
so.
what was really strange to me was it was definitely written off a book, because they would literally go to black.
Charlotte's Web.
They would go to black every probably 6 minutes, and have a little mice sing, and have a little title card comes up. So I thought that was really different, because I haven't seen a title card interruption movie since Quentin Tarantino's most of his movies, basically.
Yeah.
So that was really odd to me. So the movie seemed a lot shorter than it really was, because you're digesting it in 5-minute scenes, and then it takes a break every time. Overall, I think for a kids movie, it's still fun. It definitely keeps the imagination going, and that kind of stuff. I enjoyed that.
I got one
Yeah.
funny thing about this.
Okay.
When I first met my wife, and I would go over to her apartment, she had a television with a built-in VCR. That's what she had. And Babe was
What year was this? Was this 5 years ago? Or was
Yes,
this-
yes. Yeah, it was. No, it was probably
It was today.
It's almost 10 years ago. and the tape was stuck. The VHS was stuck in the player, and that's all that could play. You couldn't even watch the regular TV. So every time I went over there, Babe was just on because
she watched. Like, why did she?
Well, it was just on more for like background noise. But I'm like waiting for her to get ready, so I just sit down and.
So you've seen Babe like 100 times.
I've seen it many times.
And you don't know Bahram U?
I said I did.
Oh, you did. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Why? Like, hey, you got Beethoven on now, Dick.
Oh man.
Oh, Beethoven. I want to watch that. Me and Lindsay, we're gonna watch Father of the Bride. We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah,
It's like these old movies from the '90s that are
I
like
love Steve Martin.
so good.
So good.
But that wasn't who was Beethoven. That wasn't Steve Martin. That was like off-brand Steve Martin.
That was Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin.
Grodin.
Yes. All right, cool. So
Well,
Dick, you liked it or not liked it?
I saw it on Hulu just to let people know if they're wanting to watch Babe. It's available on Hulu, and overall, I say if you have kids, it's very safe. And it's one thing that it's pretty dark because they like a duck dies and like they murder him, and then like the farmers do and
Duck genocide.
And that's one thing that kind of confused me a lot was they try to make everything seem very old, but when like a family comes, they give them a fax machine, for example, and I'm like, man, so what's the timeline of this movie? Is it really 1995?
It defies time. They're probably trying to be kind of true to the era of the book being written, which is like, it's a book, right?
I don't.
Is it not a book? I thought it was a
book.
book.
I think Charlotte's Web is the book.
Babe came from Charlotte's Web.
I believe so. I might be.
We should probably know this.
Not accurate.
The original Babe was not 1995. That was based on something.
I mean, it didn't say. I'm on IMDb. It did not say anything about it being a book. One thing that some interesting kind of things I want to say a little bit about it. It's 48 different pigs were used.
And they all died.
And the movie eventually, yes. A couple other interesting things about the movie. It cost $30 million to make. It made $254.1 million. It was banned in. Hold on, sorry, I cough.
What if they roasted a pig at the rap party?
It was banned in Malaysia when it was released because of it says avoid upsetting the Muslim community. Because pigs are apparently
like even watching a pig is like bad for Muslims,
I guess. And then James Cromwell really kind of changed his life. It said like there's an interesting article that he basically someone asked him what was the most influential movie you've been a part of, and he said Babe, because it really taught him what it's like to be a pig, I guess.
But he knows they weren't really talking, right?
I
feel like
I made some of my best friends.
Everybody's been around a pig and a chicken. I mean, it's not going to stop me
Is that
from
where
eating
the famous line comes from? That'll do, pig.
Yep.
Yeah. Or Charlotte's Web, I think, is that.
No, that was this movie.
This is
and
Babe.
when they said it, I was like, this is how disconnected I was because I didn't realize it was this movie that had that famous line. Because I figured that was some mobster movie. And then that's where they try to like rebrand it because it's, a kid's
that'll
movie.
do, pig.
Definitely from this. Hey there.
But yeah, it's
what
on
you doing
Hulu.
around here, man?
Okay, yeah. So it's based off of The Sheep Pig, which is a story. So there you go.
Okay.
It is a children's novel written by Dick King Smith.
There we go, Babe. All right, check it out, everybody, if you want good family-friendly fun. We're about to go to break, but we do want to remind you that we do the Grand and Amstar ticket giveaways that we do off-air every week. And so if you want to be a part of that, you can just comment on our Facebook, our Twitter, at @the_TicketStub, or the Ticket Stub Podcast on Facebook. We'll get you into the drawing for that every week. We do want to thank the Grand and Amstar Theaters for everything they do for us as a show. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about our Oscar look back, which winners held up the best and the worst since the year 2000. So stick with us here on the Ticket Stub.
The Ticket Stub is sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
With 18 locations around the country, the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas bring you the latest in state-of-the-art projection and sound,
including Fathom Events and Flashback Cinema.
Did you know your local Grand or Amstar Cinema serves a wide variety of adult beverages?
And some even have a full bar.
And moms, they didn't forget about you. They also have a large selection of wine to help you get through those kids' movies.
Visit your local Grand or Amstar Cinema today.
Hey, Montgomery County, it's me, C.C. Holmes. And I would personally like to take this time to invite you, that's right, you, to join me every Saturday and Sunday from 3 until 7 p.m., where I will bring you the very best of the smooth jazz, classic jazz, and indeed, yes, the soulful sounds of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So come along and get jazzy with me. That's right, jazzy. Right here, of course, on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM, or worldwide at irlongstar.com.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question, comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station on irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
We're back on the ticket stub. If you missed this last segment, I talked about Alita Battle Angel. Chris talked about All Is Lost. Alicia Battle Canal. And then Dick talked about Babe, Pig in the City.
No, just Babe.
Oh, sorry, Babe. Whatever. They're the same pretty much. Now we're going to do our Oscar look back. We're going to talk about the winners that held up the best and the worst since the year 2000. So I'm going to quickly read through the winners starting in the year 2000 going to 2017 so that everybody listening knows what it is we're talking about here. And then we're going to talk about the winner. When I say that held up, what I mean is like with a little bit of hindsight. Sometimes a movie wins and you think back on it a few years later and you think,
okay,
that should not have probably. I mean, that's not that good of a movie, you know. But it gets kind of caught up in the buzz or whatever. And that's how I feel if Bohemian Rhapsody wins this year. I think we'll feel that about it, in my opinion. But the best, the worst, and then what's your favorite of all these movies, which is a different thing than best. You know, just because a movie's the best doesn't mean it's necessarily your favorite movie. So here we go. Starting in year 2000. I'm not going to read the years. You can just figure it out. But starting in year 2000, Gladiator, A Beautiful Mind, Chicago, The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, $1 Million Baby, Crash, The Departed, No Country for Old Men, Slumdog Millionaire, The Hurt Locker, The King's Speech, The Artist, Argo, 12 Years a Slave, Birdman, Spotlight, Moonlight, The Shape of Water. A couple of lights there. Spotlight, Moonlight. Can you believe, Lord of the Rings, such a good movie, but surprised it got the critical. Yeah, some of these I'm surprised won Best Picture looking back, just because of the kind of movie that typically does win.
Well, Lord of the Rings was just like the culmination of the three. I think
career achievement almost type deal.
If you look at, it's not the best of the three Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, number 2 is.
I don't know. The extended version is probably the best one of the three.
I don't know. I think number
Return
2.
of the King.
I think number 2 is my favorite. Probably The Two Towers.
Yeah,
pretty awesome. Okay, so let's move to.
Too bad that lost to Chicago.
Jesus. Okay, so what do you think is generally the Oscars when it comes to them picking movies for the year?
Yeah.
Do you think they do a good job or bad job at the nominees, not just the winners? But I don't have all the nominees from year to year, but kind of just thinking about it generally. Do you think they normally grab the 5 or so best movies of the year for their list?
That made money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, like the bigger movie, like not like a real like $1 million movie or anything like that.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's some independent films that are probably as good. But
okay, so of the bigger movies, you think they do a pretty good job of grabbing the bigger movies that are good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Dick, you agree?
Yeah. I think since they changed it up where they allow more movies into the whole deal, it kind of changes it up to be, you don't really know who's going to win. But there are certain off years where there's just not a good movie that goes above, a 9.0 on the average voting.
Yeah.
So
what I would say is if there's, let's just say 5, because most of the years of the Oscars there's been 5. If there was 5 movies, like 3 or 4 of them are 3 or 4 of the best movies, I think they always throw in like one that I'm kind of like, really? Like that? I don't know. It's like an artsy one or it's an Oscar type movie or whatever else where no one really likes it that much. And, it'll never be remembered as much, but they just put it in there just for the sake of doing it. Okay, so Chris, what is the best movie, in your opinion, as far as what held up the best of all these, 17 choices?
For me, it's Return of the King. I love that movie and the whole trilogy. and it's still good. I've watched it recently, and it holds up really well. I think even the computer generated effects, they still look good.
It really that is amazing how good that still looks. I think it's because they used a lot of practical stuff as well, like to complement the CGI, so it's not so fake as what things kind of got after that. Dick, what about you? What do you think? Which choice looks the best with history in view?
Oh man, that's a good question. I say probably. I mean, what did you say?
Return of the King.
Return of the King. I'd say Gladiator.
Yeah.
Just because of the impact that movie had on the world, really. People just loved that movie, loved the music. They loved Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, he was good.
And I mean, I would like that's the total dad movie out of all those movies. Looking at every single one.
Dad movie. Define a dad movie.
Nah, man,
Gladiator.
I mean, what does it mean to be a dad movie?
Well, it's like the movie that you can always see a dad just turn on and leave on.
Yeah.
I mean, I can. Most people just like if
slowly becoming that.
Like I would say, if you say the TBS movie matinee things they do. Out of all these movies, which movie would you stop and go, let me watch this scene? It's pretty good.
That's true.
It would be Gladiator.
I listen to a podcast called The Rewatchables, and Gladiator is definitely one of those kind of movies where it's super rewatchable. For me, I picked The Departed for some similar reasons. You know, TBS would have Gladiator, but TNT would probably have The Departed on it if you were flipping the channels at the same time. And
they know drama.
Yeah, they know it, man. And that's kind of where it ultimately settled for me. I don't think The Departed is the best movie on this list, but I think that if you compare it to all the others, as far as a movie that people would still say is like really, really good, where the actors a lot of them are at the peak of their power when The Departed came out. A lot of these guys are just killing it. There's so many different guys on there who all, like, this wasn't the end of their career. This was like one piece of a really successful career where they've gone on to even better things since then and everything like that. And then it's on TV all the time. It's super rewatchable. It's super good. There's tons of different scenes.
I don't know how you can watch that movie on TV. Is like they curse all the time.
Well, the TV ruins it.
Do they even show the scene in the elevator?
I don't know how much. Probably
that's like the best scene in that movie.
The scene in the movie theater as well with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part's not so good.
I don't think you can show that on TV.
You still show the screen. You don't show what they're watching. What happens in the theater is not that bad.
Yeah, it is. He has that extra piece, if you recall. So.
Yeah. The extra.
Yeah, that movie's definitely not something you watch on TNT.
It comes on. I'm just telling you. Or maybe it's on HBO. I don't know. On HBO would probably be a better place to watch it. But Departed, super good. Really like it. All right, worst. Chris, what do you think? What should the Academy be embarrassed about?
Chicago.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's important though, we can't really say that without looking up
what it was
what else it was going against. And let me look it up right now.
Fair. Yes, it's very fair. Let's do that.
Because
because sometimes you have to pick. Like there has to be a winner.
So that you said it was 2002. I think you're off by your years on this thing.
No, the awards come out the year after, but it's the awards for the previous year. So like the 2018 Oscars are about to happen.
So Gangs of New York, The Hours, The Pianist, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and Chicago.
Are you kidding me?
So Gangs of New York is 15 times better than Chicago.
Oh my gosh, that should have won.
Gangs of New York is so good.
Yeah, and then it had actually The Two Towers, which was
also really, really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's weird about the Oscars and how they always come to the conclusion it's always voted on the in-house stuff. And to me, if you release these movies all in the same year, everyone loves Chicago because it's Chicago. Everyone wants to be on stage and do their own play. They're talking about actors and actresses and directors and stuff. And I don't know. I thought that movie sucked, but that's just because I'm not really into that kind of stuff. So I don't really have a good. I at least have. If I had a vote, I wouldn't have voted for it. I think that year, if I had a vote, it would probably be The Gangs of New York.
Oh, 100%.
But that's just because I like Lord of the Rings, but they didn't do the extended version, so we're not judging the extended version.
Gangs of New York is so good. That's such a good movie.
It really is.
Well,
but Daniel Day-Lewis won, didn't he? For the actor.
Yeah, he won the actor for that.
Yeah.
All right. So Dick, what about you?
I mean, looking at all of them, it's kind of strange because there's a couple that stood out to me in a sense. All the movies, like for example, like Chicago, how did it beat all those other better movies? But then there's other movies to me like A 12-Year Slave, Crash, The King's Speech. It's kind of like, why, like, what were they going up against at that time? Because those are the red flags. You're like, oh, they must have had crappy movies going up against it, or it must have been a fluke like Chicago. But you have movies like Slumdog Millionaire. I still don't get how that won Best Picture.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that didn't have.
That to me is the most average movie you would go see to feel good.
I just looked it up. It was Slumdog went against Frost Nixon.
It's on
Curious
Austin
Case
Channel.
of Benjamin Button, The Reader, and Milk. I guess Benjamin Button's probably the best of all those.
No, I mean, there's
Frost Nixon was really good.
Yeah.
But again, like I don't really know if those audiences like those, if Hollywood liked that movie more. I'm not really sure because 12 Years Slave that came out. Man, what other movie was there that was going up against it? Because that whole year was very underwhelming.
12 Years a Slave was a good movie, though.
But I meant like what compared to
Wolf of Wall Street, Gravity, American Hustle, Nebraska, Captain Phillips, Her, Dallas Buyers Club, Philomena.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Gravity. Well, there was racial energy behind that as well. But Gravity was really, really good.
Well, hold on. What racial energy was behind that movie?
It was like Oscar So White, like.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Are you serious? That was the same year?
I think it was, I don't know if it was that year or the year, but I'm just saying like they were wanted for like these kind of movies to really rise up because there was a lot of that. Like we want Hollywood to be more diverse.
Wasn't that directed by a Hispanic guy?
I'm just saying, but it was about the story though. It was directed by
astronauts in space.
No.
You're talking about 12 Years a Slave.
I was like, man, I'm missing something, man.
No, it was Steve McQueen was the director there, and he's a black guy movie about slavery and stuff like that. So I think that had some energy behind it as well. So you picked which one?
I would say out of all those, besides, you can't say Chicago.
Oh, you can. If you
I
want.
would probably say
It's
Slumdog Millionaire.
Okay,
probably the most disappointing.
But the
one.
dance number at the end,
yeah, the Bollywood dance,
pretty good.
I picked The Artist. I mean, I think it's been talked about before. The Artist being a bad winner, and when you look at the things it was going against, The Descendants, Moneyball, The Tree of Life, Hugo, The Help, War Horse, Midnight in Paris, Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close.
The Help was so good.
Because Hugo was so good too.
But legitimately, The Help and Moneyball, Midnight in Paris is really, really good. I mean, there's several really good choices. The Artist, that was stupid. That's like, oh, it's black and white and cool and hip and trendy and everything like that. But anyways, so they don't always get it right, I think is the point. But they do a pretty good job often of picking the good movies. At least the nominees are usually a list of good movies. So what's your favorite, Chris? Favorite movie on the list?
Birdman.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I just really like the one, and I know it was edited, and that kind of ruined it a bit.
But still.
the one tracking shot for an entire film.
Yeah, that was pretty creative the way they did that.
Pretty neat. I really.
The storyboarding there must have been nuts.
Yeah.
To have all that figured out. Dick, what's your favorite?
Excluding Lord of the Rings, I would say No Country for Old Men.
Oh, so good. No Country for Old Men is so good.
So
I picked Gladiator, man. Dad. I'm about to be a stepdad. Dad movie over here. Gladiator. I love that movie. That movie's so freaking good.
It's very interesting to see how we changed the tones of movies, going from Gladiator all the way to Shape of Water, and that's looking at Gladiator
Pretty different.
way those movies were made. There is definitely, especially watching Babe recently, I go, man, movies were just made so drastically different back then, because I think Comrell, whatever his name was, probably on set for a week for that movie, and it was. Like he was the main human being, and when it was nominated for all these Oscars, I was like, man. So, but I mean, it is kind of strange to me because I remember I think I stopped watching the Oscars hardcore when Crash won, because Crash to me was I was like, really? That's what we're gonna give the Best Picture to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was one of those movies that's an Oscar movie. It's not really good. No one who's watched Crash since then, right? Like I don't know anybody that's like, hey, you want to come over and watch Crash?
I mean, who actually watched The Artist?
Exactly. Not that many people.
So, and then that kind of loses our credibility to say it's a bad movie, but none of us has seen it. I think we should watch that for our group rewind.
Yeah, we've already got our 36. We got our 3 years worth of movies. All right, well, we need to wrap this thing up. So, all in all, the Oscars coming up next week. We're going to be doing our recap. So this week was kind of looking back at the Oscars. By next week, we'll be able to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this year's Oscars, and we will be giving the Golden Dude. He has been sitting peacefully at my house, perched, watching over all of my things.
Don't pack him.
Oh, he's packed. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. The Golden Dude's staying right where he is as we do the Oscar contest, the ballot contest to see who wins the most categories in our Oscar selection. We're also going to be doing our group rewind of The Killer. The Killer. Chow Yun Fat.
They can't read that when you're shaking it.
The Killer.
Thank you. That got me really excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped. You're The Killer.
I would definitely watch it with subtitles.
I will.
I would definitely do that because the dubbing of it.
There's an option to not do that.
Yeah, there's dubbing in it.
You think Chow Yun Fat was ever maybe I should be Chow Yun
I'm a
Skinny?
big fan of dubbing.
Anyways, that's a terrible joke.
Not,
all right, we're gonna go to we gotta go. The Killer, dubbed versus subtitles.
Dabbing.
Oh, that's dabbing.
Dabbing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm dubbing.
I was confused.
I'm dubbing, throwing up the dub, getting the dub in Fortnite, right, guys? All right, we're gonna go.
Well, what movies are y'all seeing?
The Killer.
You're watching The Killer. Everyone's watching The Killer, right?
Yeah.
You watching any other movies? I've already seen it, so I got to figure something else to watch.
You only need one for next show.
Should I go see that Alicia movie?
Go see Alicia Big Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Alicia Big Eye Angel.
Is the movie theater still open over there?
Mine, yes.
Yeah, they're still putting.
Yeah, it is still open. Yeah.
That's the Grand Theater in Conroe.
Yeah,
correct,
and
yeah.
there's Grand Theaters and Stars everywhere, and we thank them for their sponsorship of the show. Don't forget the tickets. Go on our social media, send us a comment. Maybe tell us which of these Oscar look-back movies you like the most out of all of the winners from 2000 to today. And excited for next show. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. For Dick, for Chris, my name is Connor. We're signing off on the Ticket Stub.